Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 1 with the Happy Hangout. I'm Christy Darty, and I'm super excited to be here. Let's get started, okay? The first thing I want to talk about, the first episode is about kindness. I was thinking back to when I was a little girl, and the first time I remember someone being kind to someone else that I was watching was my dad. We are in his truck in a small town on an old country road. As we're driving, we'll pass a few cars, and every time we would pass cars, my dad had his hand on the steering wheel, and he would just lift up his hand and wave. I'll never get that visual out of my head. And I said, Dad, why are you doing that? I was probably like 6 years old. And he said, I'm just being kind. And I thought at that moment, I want to be kind too. And so that was a great first memory of kindness. And, throughout the years, I've kind of been thinking back on some other ways that I've felt kindness. And I think kindness is the way someone makes you feel. But also, of course, you can be in the other position and you can be the one sharing kindness. And then it feels so good. So it feels good to see people being kind, and it feels good to be kind, right? So I think about back to my different family members, and my mom, she shows kindness in a different way. So my dad is outwardly kind, and my mom shows kindness from the inside. And so what she would do is she would sew my clothes for me. Now, did I appreciate it back then? Maybe not as much as I should have, but now I look back, and that's how she showed her kindness, was in a different way, right? My grandma, she showed kindness by I can still remember her patting my back, and I thought, this just feels so comforting. And I think, that is a part of kindness, because she's spending time with me and she's showing me how much, she loves me and appreciates me. I also remember a time when I was in her car singing. I don't remember doing the singing part. I just remember her saying, Christy, you sure have a pretty singing voice. Of course, it's only a voice that a grandma could say it was a pretty singing voice, but I remember how kind that was. It just sticks out in my memory. Again, I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and I just remember thinking, wow, Grandma noticed my singing, and, it means a lot to me, and I think that's showing kindness. When I was probably about 9 or 10 years old, I had a really bad cough. It was super deep. And I remember thinking, I didn't know what to do about it, but I just remember constantly coughing. I remember going to my parents' bedroom, and they had one of those box fans in there, and I'd go in there and I would lay on the floor because I just wanted to be close to my family. And I was coughing so much, my parents said, Christy, if you cough one more time, you need to go back to your room. I'm thinking, was I really that old when I did that? But anyway, I just remember my dad coming home and him saying to my mom, have you not taken her to the doctor? And my mom said, no. And he said, I'm going to take her right now. And this is not the part of the kindness. The kindness comes in a minute. But so my dad takes me. The doctor says I have pneumonia. I get admitted to the hospital immediately. But while I'm there, I remember feeling so much love and kindness when people would come up. And my best friend at the time came up and she brought me a milkshake. At 10 years old, y'all, someone bringing you a milkshake to the hospital, that was serious. That was a big deal back in the 80s, 70s. I don't know. Way back in the day, I'll just say that. It just meant a lot to me. And then another really good friend, she brought me a little brass dachshund. She knew how much we loved dachshunds in our family, and I still have it today. It's just those little tiny things people do for each other that just makes you feel good, right? Have you ever been in a drive-thru and someone pays for your order? You get up to the window and they're like, it's been paid for. Man, it just feels so good. It's just I can't believe that person, thought to do that for me. Who am I? They don't know me. It's just a way that people share kindness. Also think of another story is going to Walmart. And sometimes Walmart, if you don't have a Walmart, it's like a big grocery store chain. And it's not always the most pleasant place to be because people are, I don't know. Sometimes it seems like a lot of the workers are grumpy and the people who are shopping there can be grumpy. Not all of them, of course. But this one line I went through, this checker had so much joy oozing from her. It just made me feel good. It was just like, I want what she has. And she had Jesus in her heart. And I was just like, man, I want to be that person. I want someone to see me like that. I've also seen a video that went viral, and it was about a guy who worked at Walmart, who people were standing in line, dozens of people, just to check out with him, even though there was other checkers open, because he had so much joy. There's something about people being kind for no reason. He got nothing in return. He just wanted to share his joy. I think about my husband. He shows kindness in a different way, like my mom does, kind of more behind the scenes. And I remember one time we went to a restaurant, which, by the way, every time we go out to dinner, he basically pays for everybody's meal. So if we ever ask you to dinner, make sure you say yes and order anything you want. But we were at a restaurant and I saw someone that I knew, but she didn't see me. And I told my husband and he said, we're going to pay for her meal. And so I felt so good about it. And I got online later and on Facebook, she posted, I can't believe someone paid for our dinner tonight. I have no idea who it was. And that made me feel so good, but it came from my husband's heart. Like he wanted to do that for someone. If you think about people in your life, think about what do they do to spread kindness. Sometimes, like I said, it looks different. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's bold. But no matter what, it feels good, no matter what side you are on it. I've been on TikTok lately, and if you don't know what TikTok is, it's an app, and it's like short videos, 15 to 60 seconds. They may have gone up to 2 minutes. But anyway, it's real short videos. And it's a trend right now for people to collect money on there through a Venmo account. And they go out and do kind things for people. So, for example, they may be at a restaurant and the waiter comes over and they say, I have a $500 tip for you. And they're like, what? And some will cry and some will say, you have no idea, what this means to me. And I saw one the other day and it was a pizza delivery guy. And they gave him, say, $300. And the guy turned around and he said, are you serious? And tears start falling down his face. And he said, that's exactly what I need to finish paying my rent this month. You have no idea what this means to me. And those little acts of kindness, it didn't cost that person anything to collect that money. A little bit of time maybe. But it was just out of the kindness of their own heart. What is it that makes this, how come it makes us feel so good? I was thinking back to in the Bible. Let me look up the scripture I'm looking for. Okay, so in the Bible in Matthew 6:3, it says, but when you give to someone in need, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. So it's not something that you want to go out and brag about. You want to do it out of the kindness of your heart, and you don't want anything in return. I think about when I went and volunteered at a homeless shelter. I had a personal reason for doing that. I have a family member that struggles with their mental health and has been known to go to homeless shelters. So I wanted to know, what is that like? What do the people there want and need? How do they feel? And so I went out of kindness, of course, but what I gathered from it, what I got out of it, was not maybe what you think. Like, I didn't go there and hand out money. I gave my time, but it wasn't in a way that I expected. It was Christmas, and there was a mom who had 3 children. She had been abused and was trying to get her life back together. As I watched the process of her trying to figure things out, I knew that she probably was struggling with money. And as a parent, there is nothing more devastating than to not be able to give them what they need. Now, maybe Christmas gifts are not what they need, but it's something that a parent doesn't want their kid to miss out on, and they will give their last dime for their kids to get something. So I knew it was a really important thing. No, I didn't pull my wallet out. I just processed it and thought, okay, Lord, what do you want me to do here? So later that afternoon, I went to get some new glasses. I went to a place in town called Ragsdale and Martin Optical, and it's a really nice place. They're very friendly and helpful. And I went inside, and I think I was picking up my glasses. So I sat down, and they were fitting my glasses, and the lady asked me, what have you been doing today? And I said, I've been at this homeless shelter, and there's a family that needs some things, and I'm trying to figure out like what to do about it. And she said, oh my gosh, we would love to take care of that family. Will you please, get us in contact with whoever and allow us to collect, gifts for them? And at that moment, I knew that was the whole purpose of me being there. So I could be that connection on how someone can be kind to someone else and they never even see them or know who they are. So I was overjoyed. And they collected gifts. They all, chipped in together and bought gifts, and plenty of gifts for the mom and the children. And I got to go pick it up. So I got to put those gifts in my car, and I got to drive over to the homeless shelter and deliver them. You should see the mom's face. She felt so much love and kindness. I think it helped her realize that there are people out there that care that don't even know you. And so I just thought it was so cool that I could be that in-between person. I wasn't the one giving. I was giving kindness, but I was able to connect people that can meet needs for each other. I just think that's such a cool story. Such a neat experience to be a part of. My best friend growing up, she was really good at keeping in contact. She and I both when I was in 7th grade, in the middle of the school year, I had to move. I thought my life was over. Like, seriously, I thought this is it. I can't go on one more day. And my best friend Elizabeth, she knew how sad I was, and she said, well, keep in touch. Well, a lot of people say those things. And do they always follow through? Not necessarily. So when she came to my house, when it was time for me to move, she literally moved with us. Like, it was only an hour away, and my parents were like, sure, she can come and move with us. And that was just it was so sweet and so kind and thoughtful, and I felt so loved. But what Elizabeth did was keep in touch with me. And so she would write me letters, and she would send me gifts. And it meant so much that someone really cared enough to do that. Nobody else from the town kept up with me in that kind of way. And so she was special. She's still special. It's really cool. We became college roommates. Isn't that neat? It was like a full circle. It was really fun. And still to this day, of course, she's like one of the kindest people I know. I just love her to death. So I hope this inspires you to spread some kindness And I also want you to look at who you're hanging out with. Are those the kind of people that you want to be like? Or do you need to kind of search out and maybe find some new friends? Sometimes you have to distance yourself a little bit or draw boundaries on some people that bring you down and bring negativity into your life. So I just want to encourage you today to live out Matthew 5:16. Let your light shine before men so they can see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. You guys go out and shine bright, and I'll see you in episode 2. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. I'll see you next time.